Northwest Now is supported, in part, by viewers like you. Thank you.
He's a retired history professor using his gifted photographic eye to capture intimate images of the homeless population in the Olympia area. His photographs are telling not just a story of a social problem, but also a story about the individual people he's built relationships with in his quest to document their plight. Photojournalist J.M. Simpson is next on Northwest Now. The era of open-air encampments on city and state property seems to be coming to an end as lawmakers and administrators respond to a growing majority of the population that has finally grown weary of dealing with the problem in the areas they frequent for recreation and business. But with that said, it doesn't mean the problems are going away. Substance abuse and mental illness are still rampant in the homeless population, and all the great ideas to treat root causes and reduce the unhoused population at scale have fallen flat. As Steve Kiggin shows us now, into that world walks J.M. Simpson, documenting the story of the homeless and forcing all of us to look at them right in the eye.
Photojournalist J.M. Simpson tells me this all began on a walk a couple years ago when he came across two people suffering overdose. They were nearly hypothermic. Simpson tells me he covers the dangers facing those living on the streets and the complicity that perpetuates their suffering.
What is it about us as a culture that we seem to not see these people standing directly in front of us?
Photojournalist John Simpson's photographs are published in black and white, a decision he says aims to strip away distractions, forcing his audience to confront the injustice happening all around them.
Photography is a means of communication, and if the photograph doesn't talk to the viewer, it's not a good photograph. My images speak to the viewer.
When Simpson invited Northwest Now for an interview, Olympia was drenched in cold December rain. He spent hours in the elements with his unhoused neighbors. He doesn't wait for better weather. Simpson says he wants his photojournalism to expose his audience to the raw reality he sees through a lens.
I want you to see what they're living in, and then I want you to ask yourself the following question: why aren't you helping?
When Simpson wasn't working as a history professor at Pierce College, he was also a photojournalist embedded with JBLM Stryker Brigade, including tours in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And while Thurston County is a far cry from Central and Western Asia, he says sometimes the suffering feels familiar.
Sometimes some of the places we were in, or I've been in overseas, have been pretty hard as far as the amount of destruction. Sometimes around here with the garbage and the sheer poverty of it, yeah, there's a comparison.
How do you feel looking at these images? Do you get overcome?
Sometimes. You go two ways. I go two ways. Part of it is the empathy, which at times also turns into anger.
Simpson's work at the JOLT News Organization won the 2024 Insight Award for Visual Journalism by the Institute for Nonprofit News. But recognition is no finish line. And as long as his neighbors continue suffering, Simpson says he'll record their neglect.
I want to do something that lasts more than I'm going to be alive. I want to make a change. And God damn it, I'm going to do it.
In Olympia, Steve Kiggins, Northwest Now.